Hey, welcome back to Evil's Comics. I'm Evil Mike, and I have a review for you. This is going to be on Maw issues number 2 and 3 from Boom Studios. It is written by Jude, Ellison, S. Doyle, and it's art by A.L. Kaplan, colors by Fabiana, Mascolo, and then it's letters by Cardinal Rae. Both issues, same creative team, same um, kind of that. There's a lot in this story that has not been revealed yet, so I'm gonna kind of tell the story as best as I can figure it out. And at the very end of this review, I will show you some of the art. Um, so basically, so far we're 3 issues into it. The main story is about 2 sisters that go to a women's retreat, but it ends up being like a witches kind of retreat. They are aware of that on their way there. One of the sisters is going because she wants to. The other is being dragged along. The other sister that is being dragged along, she is more like punk rockish, like more tomboy appearance. The other one being more, pretty and, more feminine dressed, womanly dressed, I don't know. So they go to this convent, and at this like witches, commune kind of thing. It's at a beach, and basically no men are allowed. There is one like a bus driver that takes them from the town to this where the retreat is located, but he is the one guy that is allowed to get even that close to this retreat. In the very first issue, we did see some kind of like signs of magic or whatnot, but it was really like it was like a circle of women that were surrounding this other woman. She was talking about all the different things that, like all the different injustices and pain that men had caused her throughout life, and she took that pain and they placed it into a totem, and then after that she was like a changed, more innocent person. So we did see that there is magic and stuff, from the witch's side of it in this book. But anyways, they end up going there. And the second issue is more like we did see in the very end of the first issue that the punk rockish sister, she wasn't for the witches commune and everything, and she kind of like abandoned and took off back to the city, and she ended up going to a bar to drown her sorrows. And we found out like 2 things from that situation. One, that she was like roofied and then like drugged and raped at that bar, and then one, we also learned that this had previously happened in the past. Going forward in the second book, it's kind of this takes place directly like a week after that situation, and the punk rock sister has been basically stuck in this like cabin, especially after what happened. The anger, the pain, the hate of the world kind of thing, and she's kind of like stewing in her, in the home by herself. The other sister, we do see that she is still like, with the witches retreat and everything, and we do see like another scene that they showed like the first time, another ceremony where like they're taking the pain and anguish from this girl and putting it into another totem. They do there is a head witch that eventually talks to the other sister that's at the covenant, and basically it's like they're trying to get her to reveal her trauma and her pain that she might have suffered as a woman from man's world kind of thing. And she's kind of sticking up for us, like stating that she doesn't have that kind of life. She hasn't come across those no injustices. Guys have always been kind of nice to her, or just regular, or but she's never had those like traumatic or any kind of experiences. Now the other sister, that's a different story. We've already learned that she had what happened in the past, and then what just happened to her. But for the main part, the story just continues, where eventually it kind of, like in my opinion, you do see that the other sisters start changing, and it's kind of like a noticeable, like, and you kind of just take it like because she's spending all this time in the house after what happened, the pain, the hurt, maybe she's not eating exactly the way she's supposed to be. Because it doesn't really look like anybody's checking on her. Eventually, within that week, her sister does come check on her, but it's not like a daily thing or anything. But she does start to change in appearance, like where she starts looking more deathly, let's just say. Um, the book eventually goes forward where, like at the very end of the second issue, that same group that did, that raped the sister, find her on the beach again alone, and they're like, oh yeah, we haven't finished our fun kind of thing. We remember you from last night kind of thing. Like they would have forgot, but anyways, they do approach her, and this time, like, the sister, and she had just steps out. I think she had just stepped outside to take a break from the house, trying to get fresh air, and that's where the same group of guys like find her again. But this time, as soon as they start to approach her, and she kind of hurls over in like pain, and she starts grabbing her midsection, and then all of a sudden from her midsection something drops on the ground, and the scene is dark. It's supposed to be in the after hours, and so at first it's kind of like just a splash, or on the ground, but it literally falls from her stomach area onto the ground, and then we kind of get more panels of what it is, and it honestly looks like an alligator or a crocodile, hence the name Maw. But all of a sudden this thing falls on the ground. Eventually, like, the guys get all like scared and everything, and they end up running off. She ends up grabbing this thing, kind of like cocoons it, like swaddling it like a baby, and she kind of runs off into like this wooded area. And that's basically where the second issue kind of leaves us at. The third issue is just basically continuing right off from there. It goes back with the other sister, and she's still with the Witches' Covenant. There is a scene where, she goes and checks up on her sister again, and at this time it's already after the alligator scene, but it's like a couple different scenes that are mashed in together. They do show that the punk rock sister goes into the like wooded area, and she drops off the alligator like baby thing, and she kind of leaves it there, and then she goes back to her little cottage where she's been holed up. So we do see that the sister goes and checks on her after that, and the punk rock sister at this point is kind of a little more happier, like maybe after she scared those guys and kind of stood up for herself kind of thing. The other sister kind of goes back into the Witches' Covenant and stuff, and she brings her sister along this time, and when they go into this huge like maze, and they talk to the head witch that's sponsoring the retreat and the covenant and everything, and she does this whole backstory explaining why she set up the Witches' Covenant and how it was formed, and it was basically formed through pain of men, and the way we treated women, and we just like kind of that whole story, and that's how the Witches' Covenant got started. Eventually it's like the head witch telling that the pretty sister again that she's going to have to reveal some kind of like trauma or something like that, like maybe her mind is clouded or something, and she just they're making it seem like she just hasn't viewed the world with real eyes kind of thing. She's been looking at everything like in a fantasy type thing, and she keeps stressing that she hasn't had that that life. The other sister, like, she does mention something to the other sister saying that she's going to have some power that's going to come forth or something, but she won't like recognize it at first or something like that. They go off on their respective ways, and it jumps forward like a couple days, and eventually it's like it shows like a couple different things where like the group of guys that already raped and kind of tried to attack the other sister, and they do end up running into the guy that's been the guy in the van that's been shuffling the girls back and forth from the town to the Covenant, and they eventually kind of kidnap him and get them to take them to the Witches' Covenant. And when they do that, they end up finding the cottage where they think the punk rock sister is supposed to be. They've seen from afar, like watching or something like that. But again, being late at night, but they go, and at first they just have knives up to the guy, the driver and everything, and finally they get to the house, and they're like, hey, it's the house, let's go get her. And I guess they're getting their revenge for being scared on the beach. But eventually they do make it to the house, and they do make a couple different comments like, okay, all the lights are off, you know, she's probably not here, she's probably with the other sisters or the witches or whatnot. And the guys are like, you know, there's one main guy, and he's like, you know, no, just because the lights aren't off, she's probably asleep or something like that. So they do end up making it like towards the house. And as soon as we see like a couple different scenes like together, just in different moments in time, but we do see that it was at the same moment when the pretty sister was checking on the punk rock sister, and she's getting done, you know, checking on her sister, and as she's getting done, she had like just got done turning off the lights, like as they pulled up, and she's walking out of the house, closing all the doors up and everything, because her sister wasn't even there. She's off doing something else. But as she's closing up the doors, the one of the guys gets scared, and he ends up shooting her, you know, in the chest, and she falls over, and at the moment, I mean, she could be dead or in the process of dying. Um, After this, once this happens, we do see like all of a sudden we hear like a cry from like close by, and it's the other sister, and it's just like it's like a merge of two things. Instantly her sister starts attacking the three guys that just shot and possibly killed their sister. But then from the roof we also see something else, and the art gets a little sketchy, but it looks like the alligator came with her, or the crocodile, or whatever it is. Like it comes from the roof, and it instantly takes off one of the guys' heads, and he just falls to the ground. And then the other two guys, they see the sister, and they just you kind of see what she looks like, and I'll show you that. But she looks like this like mix of an alligator type zombie type, you know, creature, and that's kind of where the issue leaves off, is just her staring at them, and they're trying to like run away from this crazy scene that they have stepped into. My thinking is what happened is what's going on with the sister is she has been cursed and she didn't know it. Like maybe because she didn't release that pain or trauma she had suffered before she went to that retreat. Now it's acting in this like reverse type of nature. But that's just my first thoughts. I don't know. There's a lot of mystery that's still going into this book. I can say at first, off the first issue, I wasn't really like a huge fan. It didn't rub me wrong or right. But after reading the second and third, I've definitely, you know, gotten more into the book. But I'll show you some of the art, and I'll let y'all go on y'all's ways. If I can get this to focus. Let's see. No, I'm going the wrong way. This is just like the sister at home in the cabin. One thing I can say about this is the art was spectacular in the book. All the way through the first, second, and third. I can say in the second and third book, the art gets like amazingly better. But in the second book, I can say, like, reading the first half of it, I wouldn't say it was boring or anything like that. It was more like, you know, kind of a slow read. And then once it got to the second time where we meet those guys on the beach, and you know, she expunges whatever she expunges off of her, the alligator or crocodile. But as you can see here, this is the punk rock sister right here, and she's kind of looking a little, you know, gangly. In the first issue, if you have read the book, she looks a lot prettier when she first got here, but this is the scene where she kind of, you know, like drops the alligator thing. And that's kind of all they show, is just the puddle, and like it looks like an alligator, or maybe a dinosaur, who knows, or a dragon. I'm guessing alligator, but I'm going to cut through, and they show, it's like the second ceremony with the witches and the prettier sister. And I hate that terminology, the prettier sister. This is the sister going to the house to check on her sister. The guys going to the house to, you know, I don't know what their plans were, to rob or kill the sister for scaring them. And that's when they shot the sister by accident. And then right after this is when it gets all crazy. You can see her right over there. There's like the alligator thing falling from the ceiling. And it's kind of the alligator like biting the head off, I guess. And that's kind of the sister right there, all
alligator zombie crazy thing. I don't know. Alright, guys. Y'all have a good one. Please like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I will see y'all next time. Bye.